Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in the English Lake District for an overnight camp. The weather is meant to be miserable actually. It's supposed to have been raining all of today, into tonight, into tomorrow, but in one of those rare instances, it's actually not. It sprinkled on me a little bit on the hike so far, and it was pouring when I arrived, but as soon as I got out of the car, it seemed to have stopped. So hopefully that's a sign of a good camp to come. We'll see. But it may work against me because I actually picked this location because I knew the weather was going to be terrible, and I was kind of hoping it would deter people from going to this spot that I'm heading to, which is a cave. But driving in, I saw tons of cars, especially in town. A lot of people seem to be enjoying the day, so we'll see if I can get this cave all to myself, but that's the goal for tonight. It's a pretty popular spot, which I've avoided for a really long time, but I was hoping today I could maybe get it to myself, so it may still happen. We'll have to see, but if not, I'll find a place probably somewhere along this river. Let's get hiking. So part of the reason for actually coming to do this hike was because I've been wanting to walk the length of this river to get an idea if I'm able to actually pack raft it at some point. It's looking good so far, but it has been raining quite a bit, so the water levels are high, but I haven't seen a spot yet that would trip me up or that I'd have to get out, which is good. This has to be the driest, rainiest day I've ever experienced in the Lake District. It hasn't rained since I've gotten out of the car, and I was really kind of hoping the rain would drive people away from this area because it's very easy to access, but I've already seen probably 4 groups of people, which does not bode well for my plan to camp in this cave, which is, like I said, pretty well known and populated. But I'll get more into the history of it later once we get there. The cave is actually just up there, up the crag a bit more, but I'm avoiding it at the moment because it's still pretty early, and I did want to continue to follow the river just to see where it goes. There's a place that I normally like to park, which is alongside the river, further into the mountains, and from the looks of it right now, I could have 2 miles of uninterrupted paddling on it, and plenty of areas along the bank that are not on the main trail where I could get out and pitch a tent. So pretty excited about this, at least for a future camp. But I'm gonna keep following this. I'll take you guys along with me, and then we'll head up to the cave in a little bit. So happy I'm finally getting to explore this. The problem normally is in the wintertime, I usually only have a couple hours of hiking before I can set up camp. But now that the days are longer and it doesn't even get dark until 9, I have plenty of time to explore, and I've been wanting to see this area for a really long time. Check this out. So the path actually, I believe it's the Cumbrian Way. I broke away from the path and I've just been following the river here. But look at this spot I've come across. Beautiful. Out of the way. You could tell someone else had an idea to camp here. So there's a fire ring. What a phenomenal spot though to pitch the tent. Absolutely need to remember this. This would be a really fun trip. And then I could just hike back. It would only be like 3 miles Pretty cool. All right, gonna keep exploring. Wow, what a pretty spot this is. And there's tons of space up there on the bank in the grass to pitch a tent as well. I won't be disappointed even if I can't camp in the cave tonight. There's plenty of options, which is really cool. Such a gorgeous area. I was just about to comment, what a fantastic swimming hole. Because look how deep it is. And look what's hanging right there. Oh, that's so tempting. When I come back to do that pack rafting trip, that's got my name on it. What an amazing spot this is. It's so pretty. Camp right here by the water. I don't want to jinx anything, but I just checked the forecast. It's now not even supposed to rain until around 6 o'clock. It's 3:30. Get my waterproof trousers off, explore a bit more. So even for all those camps where it wasn't supposed to rain and I just get dumped on, this can happen sometimes. And when it does, it feels extra special. This is incredible. So I'm making my way up the mountain. I decided to completely break trail. The main path is loaded with people. And as I've said in the past, this is why I avoid popular paths, because I just don't want to see anyone when I come out. And unfortunately, everyone has descended on the Lake District right now. I'm actually on the crag that the cave is on, but I'm completely going my own way. But it has allowed me to find some really cool spots. I thought this was a cave at first, but it's just a small channel under the ground, and then up there you can see a small stream of water, and then it goes down to meet the river that I was at just a little bit ago. I'm gonna keep heading up this way. It's not a path, so it's a bit of a scramble. Still gonna go to the cave, but I do need to have multiple backup plans. This is interesting. So I'm way off the path. The caves I'm working my way towards are somewhere behind that, so I have no clue how I'm gonna get there still. But I've stumbled across this, which is clearly very old. There's a tree growing in the middle of it, but I'm not sure what it was. There's a lot of old slate mining around here. In fact, that has a little bit to do with the caves that I'll talk about in a bit, but really interesting structure. Pretty cool. Couldn't find anything on OS maps or any of the maps that I use, which is a little bit disappointing. Kind of wish I knew what it was. And really neat, big, flat area, potentially camp at, with a view of the mountains. So I think I'm gonna head up that way. The cave is off in that direction, and that looks like the path of least resistance. I can't go up that. It's a cliff, but it does look like it works its way that way. So I'm gonna keep heading in that direction. Hopefully I end up at the same elevation of the cave and not above it, but we'll see. I have plenty of time to work my way to it, even if I have to go back down and follow the actual path. In any case, really, really cool little structure here. It almost looks like a natural chimney. Huh. Pretty cool. Oh, I think I messed up. I think I ended up above the cave. I just got to go over this little ridge here and take a look. But according to the map, I think my elevation's just right above it. So this actually might be the top of it. So worry about that, I guess, in a second. Oh wow. Beautiful view though. Jeez. I believe it's right down there. Oh yeah, this is a cliff. Whoops. It's all right. I'm gonna work my way down on the other side. I'll try off in that direction. And if that doesn't work, then unfortunately I'm gonna have to go all the way back down. Really pretty area up here though. Great views. All right. Let's find this cave. Well, I've pinned myself in a corner. This may seem ridiculous, but this is still fun because I don't get to explore like this too often. Usually I have a set path and I'm just trying to rush, but sometimes it's nice to get in these predicaments and explore a new place fully, so not too disappointed. Some deer. Isn't that gorgeous? 250 feet down, somewhere in there is the cave. Oh, I'm debating if I try to slowly work my way down, kind of switch back my way through. I looked at the topo maps and it looks possible. I just need to be real careful, because it looks like it might even be a trail, at least a game trail potentially right here. I think I'm going to try it. Don't know if I'll be able to film this though. I do need to be extremely careful getting through there, but if I make my way that way, it looks a little less rocky and crazy, and maybe I can work my way down. We'll see. Plenty of time. I do have now only about an hour before the rain gets here. It's 5 o'clock, so I've been exploring and working my way around for a couple hours now. Should be there soon though. That's the game plan. Wish me luck. Whew. Taking a little bit of a breather. Found this flat spot here. Just came from up there. Just been slowly working my way down. I've been hand deep in a lot of this though, so I will need to check for ticks later. Fortunately, I haven't seen one yet, so I think I can actually see where I'm heading. I don't know if you can tell in the action camera, but there's a flat bit of ground right there, and I believe that might be the entrance to one of the caves. So still got a ton of bracken to get through. I'm gonna kind of head that way so I can actually see where I'm going a bit better and then wind my way down. Should have taken the path, but this is more fun. As long as I don't fall. But I am being careful. That's why I'm not filming it. Well, there it is. How incredible is this? Two entrances, a large one and then a smaller one. How incredible is this? It was one heck of a roundabout way to get here, but absolutely worth it. And there's no one here at the moment, so it's great. It is getting late though. It's 5:30, and it's supposed to start raining in about a half an hour. Let's go look around. So just to give you a bit more of a tour of the cave, this is the largest opening. There's two ways in, one from up here and one from down there. All my stuff is over there currently, and that's where I plan to sleep tonight. And this area was referred to as the living room, which makes sense because it's massive. And then this area over here is said to be the attic or the bedroom of Milliken Dalton, who quit his job in London in, I believe, when he was 36 and came to do more of this, be in the outdoors. And from what I've read, he actually lived in this cave for around 50 years, which is absolutely insane. So this would have been his bedroom up here. See, it's a great flat spot. And then down there is the living room. And there should be a quote over here on the wall. So it's a bit hard to see, but it says, "Don't waste words, jump to conclusions." And a lot of people say this is actually a quote from Milliken himself, but again, from a little bit of research I've done, apparently that was actually written by his Scottish friend, who, when they were arguing, decided to carve that into the stone. In one of the books I've looked at, it's actually believed what he would have said would have been, "Don't waste words or jump to conclusions," but who knows? Absolutely fascinating area. Really stunning. Figure might as well fill up on water. Set a timer to see how long it takes. Oh wow, that took only about 3 minutes. That's awesome. Oh wow, it's cold too. It's nice I have an easy water source. It's really peaceful in here, especially with the sound of the dripping water. So it's very obvious that people have had fire pits and even created a nice little bench here. So plenty of people have slept in this cave, including one man, Milligan Dalton, in fact, for 50 years. So it's well lived in, and there's been a really big flat spot created, which I'm going to take full advantage of tonight. I actually brought a tent with me. Normally when I do cave camps, I like to use a bivvy, and I've been loving my walkabout swag from Alton lately, but I didn't bring that on this trip because I was worried that there would actually either already be people here or that people might show up and I would have to leave. So that was one of the reasons why I was looking around for spots earlier today. So I have a plan B and C, but looks like I'm gonna have the place to myself. I've never actually pitched a tent in a cave before, which is pretty cool. So I think I'll take full advantage of this big spot and do that. Tonight I'm going to be using the X-Dome 1 from Durston. I knew I would be exploring quite a bit on this trip, so I wanted to keep my pack as light as possible because I knew I'd go off trail and whatnot. And I'm glad I did because it turned out to be a little more intense than I was anticipating for such an easy place to get to. Can't believe I'm actually going to pitch a tent in a cave. Super cool. Definitely a first. Definitely one of the quicker tents to set up, especially when you're not dealing with any wind or anything. All right, all done. Pick it up and move it to wherever I want. I can go ahead and open it completely up so I just have that view when I wake up in the morning, and I'll keep it open all night. This is one of my favorite features of the tent, is that you can completely open it like this, and even the inner, so you have an unobstructed view. All right, all done. This definitely gives you a better idea of how big this cave is. Perfect. It's raining pretty good now. It's around 6:40, so it is getting later and I am starting to get a bit hungry. Sunset isn't until around 9 o'clock, so I would like to wait just a little bit longer just to see if anyone comes, but given that it's raining and it's getting later, I think I might be in the clear. I'm just coming out to look at the path to see if I see anyone coming. Nope. Doesn't look like anyone's coming. Alright. I think I might head in and start cooking. It's gonna be a fun night. I'm looking forward to it. Not a bad way to spend the night inside a cave when it's raining out. It's gonna be a cozy night. So the lighting's not that great, so I'm just a little bit closer to the entrance of the cave. The only problem is I can't get too close because there's so much dripping water, I'll get soaked. So I'm, I don't know, about 20, 30 feet in, but there is a bit more light here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so tonight I'm going to be making a doner kebab for dinner. I've actually done quite a bit of the prep work already at home, so it's actually going to probably come together pretty quickly. There won't be much active cooking in this one. That's why I have the oven with me. So I have fries to cook in the oven, and I have the doner kebab meat. Let's get started. The doner kebab meat has already been made. This is actually a technique that's fantastic for making doner kebab style thin sliced meat. So I made a bunch of it in advance. So all it takes is a pound of ground lamb, a pound of ground beef, a grated onion, Greek yogurt, and then olive oil, paprika, ground coriander, dried oregano, black pepper, ground cumin, kosher salt. And then you use this really cool technique where you actually wrap it up in parchment paper and then roll it, and it's good to cook in your oven. So that's what I'm going to do with the Hajka oven tonight, to cook the meat, and then I'll go ahead and put the doner kebab together. Well, it's a good thing I didn't cook outside. The rain had stopped for a second, and because I couldn't see enough to cook and film, I thought about just actually going out here and cooking. But this is working pretty well. It's right inside the entrance to the attic or living room, whatever you want to call it. So I'm getting plenty of light, and I'm getting to listen to the rain. He definitely picked the best spot for the bedroom. The view you get out this is incredible with all the lush green and a view of the mountain. What an incredible spot. I'm just waiting for my fries to cook now. So I love this Hajka oven. Take a look at this. Doesn't that look amazing? Look how thin the doner kebab meat is. It's just like as if it was shaved. I'll try to look up who originally created this technique, and I'll put their YouTube or Instagram or whatever it is up here so you can try it yourself, because they definitely deserve all the credit for that technique. It works incredibly well. But I've made the garlic sauce that's gonna go on it, and then I've got the fries cooking now inside the oven. Such a cool piece of kit to be able to actually do the same stuff you would do in an oven at home while camping. Really cool. There it is, doner kebab. Super excited for this. It's perfect. Oh my gosh. Seriously, whoever came up with that technique is a genius. You can make a doner kebab at home or in a cave if you have a camp oven, I guess. Look at that. It's beautiful. Some people like to put the chips inside or the fries. I don't like to do that. I like to have them separate and then dip them in the garlic sauce. So good. I do have a beer. Cheers, guys. It is getting a bit chilly, but I don't feel like walking down there to get my coat. So I'm actually going to take this off. I talked about this in my last cave camping video, but one of the reasons why I love to use this Firebox wood flame stove, makes a fantastic campfire for when I'm doing camps like this where I can't have an actual campfire. So I'm gonna go ahead and light that now. You just gotta close the air intake. Campfire without the campfire. I love this thing. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, finish my doner kebab, look at the mountains as the light fades, and listen to the rain. I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. It's getting quite dark. I need to get some lights. If you saw my post on Instagram, I have quite a few lights I brought and a candle, which is a must if you're going cave camping. So I'm gonna get those. The sun has now set, so it's gonna get dark real quick. This is the DD Magic Carpet XL. If you haven't seen my first video with this tent, this thing fits perfectly as a ground sheet and gives you a covered vestibule, which is nice when it's kind of gross underneath. So I'll be able to keep my pack in there without it getting nasty. What a cool spot. Just a second ago, a rock fell in the attic or the bedroom. I'm not one to spook ever, really, but it scared the shit out of me. It was so loud. I don't know what happened. It's probably when I was up there, I knocked a rock loose or something, and a gust of wind maybe pushed it, or Mr. Dalton was saying hi. Any case, just hanging out. The sound of the rain is incredible, and this view out the cave of the mountain, I could not have asked for a better camping spot. This worked out so well. All right, well, I'm just gonna hang out, have my beer, and just kind of watch the last of the light. I'll get back with you guys in a bit. Oh, I forgot. Actually brought another candle lantern. I couldn't find my normal one, which provides 9 hours of light. So I had to bring my small one, but it still lasts a really long time. It's starting to get really dark, so just want to get as many lights as possible so I don't have to constantly wear the head torch, because I keep tripping over rocks. It should provide enough light to keep me from knocking over stuff constantly. Temperature's dropping big time now. Really peaceful sound. Love being able to see the silhouette of the mountain over there too. Nice. It's already past 10 o'clock and there's still a bit of light outside the cave. Sunset's getting later and later. But that means sunrise is going to be extremely early as well. So I probably should try to head to bed soon. It'll be nice just to get the boots off. Really enjoying these boots. These are Lund tags. My other shell boots, the grommet broke off, so I ended up getting some new boots, and I picked these up when I was in Sweden. They're a bit pricey, but they are hands down some of the nicest boots I've ever owned. And they're very, very waterproof. It's nice to use this tent in another video. You haven't seen it too often because a lot of times it's a bit too windy here. But it's really spacious, well-designed tent. Oh, by the way, the review for the ZenBivy system is coming very soon. It actually will probably be out by the time I release this video. Maybe. If not, it'll be the following week. I've just got to add some photos and do a proofread of it. Perfectly flat. Love it. So although having the door open is nice, I can't see anything except the rocks that are in front of me. It's now past 11 o'clock, so I'm only going to get around 5 hours before the light comes up. I've just been sitting here for the past hour. I was going to read my book, but I just decided to sit here, watch the candle, and listen to the rain. It's such a fantastic sound. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video so far. Really happy with today. Sunrise is early, so I'm going to go ahead and get some sleep. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Good night. Morning. What a fantastic night. I slept like a baby, especially with that sound all night. Oh my gosh, it was glorious. It is cold though. Time to make coffee. I'm going to boil water with this, but this doesn't actually sit on there, so there's an easy workaround. I just have to unclip the stove
Set it on the ground like this. Place the triangle on top. This piece, which usually kind of creates the ring that this will sit in, just take that out and place it on top of the legs. And now my cup will sit for boiling water. So if anyone has a Trangia triangle, this is an easy way to use smaller cups. And you could do this with the Trangia burner or with a gas burner like this. Gonna get the campfire going out here. And I took my hand off last night when I did it open like this. See what I mean? That's why I like to bring a ferro rod also when I'm doing this, because it can really go up. Cheers, guys. It's about time to start packing up. What a great way to spend the morning. It would be nice to put away a bone-dry tent again. Last camp I was able to as well, which is so much nicer when I get home, so I don't have to set it up and dry it out. Doesn't get much easier than that. I gotta say, if you're camping in woodlands or, not necessarily on top of a mountain in 50-mile-per-hour winds, it's pretty hard to beat the value of this tent. For the price, it's pretty darn awesome. If you are interested in this tent though, the carbon fiber with the mesh inner I think is perfect for more sheltered camps, like in a woodland. But if you do plan on camping in more exposed conditions, like let's say on a mountain here in the lakes, I definitely would recommend the solid inner version with the aluminum poles, just to give you a bit more protection from the elements and maybe durability with the poles. Because I think I said it in my last video, if these fail, they're more likely to snap than bend. Bent pole is a heck of a lot easier to deal with or fix as opposed to a shattered, snapped carbon fiber pole.
All right, guys, leave no trace as always. I know it's hard to even see. I actually just had a light out looking around to make sure I didn't leave anything behind, but nothing but this perfectly flat spot to pitch the tent. What an awesome location this is. Such an incredible cave. A lot bigger actually than I expected. Super cool. Looks like there's a break in the rain, so time to get hiking back to the car. This time I'm gonna hike actually down the actual path to this cave. It's only around 2 miles from where I parked, so should be pretty quick. I still can't get over that view. All right, you need to concentrate. I gotta be really careful because it rained so much last night that the path is now a stream, which isn't great because this slate is extremely slippy once it's wet like this. Even though I prefer winter camps, I do really enjoy the longer days in the summer because getting able to come out and do something like this and explore just becomes so much easier. Here's that other cave. Pretty cool cave as well, but extremely wet in comparison. Even though through the night more and more drips, especially in the attic, that upper chamber got really wet last night. Oh yeah, look at this. It's luxury. Such a nice path. It is going to be really slippy though. And then it heads down that way. And then I'm heading off that way towards the river. People in the comments have said sometimes that the lakes are ugly because of the lack of trees. So I just want to point out, just because the fells are like that doesn't mean the entire lake district is like that. And as you can see, there are beautiful lush green areas like this to explore as well. I just happen to really like pitching a tent on the peaks because it kind of reminds me of the Rocky Mountains that I used to go to as a kid, because above the tree line, that's what it looks like. But this is gorgeous as well. Alright guys, well, it looks like I've actually met up with the path I took yesterday to hike straight up this crag. So I don't have too far to go. I was off in that direction exploring the river yesterday, but I'm gonna just stick to the path to get back to the car. If you enjoyed this cave camp, you can check out my channel page for a couple more cave camps that I've done. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more cave camps, just let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, please like, share, get outside. Later.